Today we're gonna make cinnamon chip scones with a cream cheese glaze. It basically tastes like a cinnamon roll in scone form. I know, it's phenomenal. Let's get into it. Okay. We're gonna take all of our dry ingredients and we're gonna put them in the bowl of our stand mixer. You are familiar with this method, my scone method from some of my other scone recipes, like the chocolate chip ones, but boom, that was sugar. This is baking powder, kosher salt, and cinnamon. Yes, there's cinnamon chips, but there's also cinnamon inside. It's like a cinnamon scone, right? Doot doot. All right, and that's all of our dry. I'm just gonna give it a little kind of twirl about with the paddle on my own. I don't need to put it in the mixer for this because I'm a fully capable woman. Awesome. And now I'm gonna put my butter. So this is cold, pseudo cubed, just cut it up a little bit. And I'm gonna plop this in there, or I will pull it out with my paddle attachment. So, and then we're just gonna take our bowl, put that in our stand mixer. You could make this by hand by squeezing it in if you'd like, or with a pastry cutter. And then we are going to turn this on kind of low, and we're just gonna let it go. And it's gonna cut in completely. Remember, we're gonna no visible bits of butter. All of that butter is gonna coat the flour, and that is what it's gonna make it so tender. While she's mixing, we are going to whisk together our wet ingredients. So I've got eggs. I'm gonna whisk those. Just give them a whisk. Oof, not loving my whisk choice. Oof. And then I'm gonna add heavy cream and vanilla. Whisk that in. You could also use an immersion blender, a hand blender if you'd like. And if you're gonna make it in a larger batch, which you should, then you should totally use a hand blender. You just wanna make sure that all of the eggs, there's no streaks of eggs or anything in there, because you don't want streaks of eggs in your scone. You want everything to be nicely incorporated. I'm gonna check in with our mixture here. She's going. I still see lots of butter chilling in there, so we're just gonna let it keep going. Just be grateful you're not doing it by hand. I don't know. All right, so sometimes the best thing to do when you can't tell, sometimes with this much butter cut in, the flour will actually start to clump in a way, and so you can't actually tell if that's flour or if that is butter chunks still. So I like to go ahead and just kind of reach in there and just verify myself and make sure that there's no butter. There's a few pieces, so I'm gonna let it keep going, but it's close. I think that we are golden. So we are going to add all of our wet ingredients. I'm gonna let this keep kind of like mixing, and I'm gonna add all of this goodness. Get all of that in there. Okay, calm down for a second, please. Now, I'm just gonna see, oh yeah, there's some like flowers on the bottom, so I'm gonna make sure that that comes out. I'm gonna finish this by hand. Do I have to? No, I could let it keep going in the mixer and add my chips, but I just like to get that extra special delicate crumb. It's always best to finish it by hand. Go ahead and get this out. So while we work the rest of this dry ingredients in, we are also going to add our cinnamon chips. So this is a 1.5 cups of Hershey's cinnamon chips. Yes, there's the best. I've tried. Go ahead and just kind of knead them in a way. Yep. Oh dear. Maybe don't wear long sleeves, I don't know. Now, boom, voila. Here's our dough with our cinnamon chips in it, and then we need to chill this. I already have a plastic lined sheet pan right here that I'm gonna take this little guy here, and I am going to put that on my sheet tray. I'm gonna press it a little bit flatter, just so that it is easier to cut later and I don't have to roll it out, because why have extra work when you don't need to? And then I'm gonna cover it and I'm gonna chill it for at least an hour, probably closer to 2. And we just want it to be nice and chilled and firm, and that way they'll bake up nice and fluffy and tender. All right, so our scones have chilled for several hours, and since we already thought ahead and we got them to a ½ inch, all we have to do is cut them. You could put this in a round and then cut with you know, a bench scraper or something to get, you know, a nice even kind of sections, if you will, like little pie pieces, if that's your fancy. But we are just going to use a cutter. I'm going to line my sheet pan with parchment. I'm just going to use the same one that it chilled on. If we work quickly, then we don't have to chill them again before we bake them. And that is my goal. Because I want scones right now. Okay, grab another sheet tray. Piece of parchment. And so we've got these scraps, and so we can just kind of press these back together and then, you know, cut them again. You don't want to do that more than one time, but one time is totally fine because we have handled this with great care and love. Okay. Take our scones, and then we are going to brush them with a little bit of heavy cream. Now we're going to top these with a glaze, so I am not going to sprinkle them with sugar or anything because they're going to already have a nice topping. So the heavy cream just kind of keeps it from, you know, getting sad and dry on the top. It helps it brown evenly, and it just kind of gives it a nice clean finish. So we're going to pop these in the oven, which I have preheated to 325. And if you wanted to give them one quick chill before they went back in, if it was warm or if you took a long time, doesn't matter. Then you can always chill them before you bake them. You can also freeze them before you bake them. Scones now. All right, our scones are out and they're beautiful. And you can see that they kind of like provide a little resistance when they're touched. They baked about just shy of 20 minutes. It really depends on just how fat or how big around you made them. So you want to just make sure that they, a cake tester comes out clean, or they provide a little resistance and they don't kind of sink in the center when you touch them, and that's how you know that they're done. So they are still warm, but we want to glaze them while they're warm. So we're just going to go ahead and prep our glaze right now. All right, I'm going to get a whisk. Lean in. We are making a cream cheese glaze, which is going to what? Oh yes, make these taste like cinnamon rolls. Yeah, I know. You could make a standard vanilla glaze. Not here. All right, so in my bowl, I have got confectioner's sugar. I'm gonna put some milk. I'm gonna put most of it, not all of it. And then I'm gonna give that a whisk. And then I'm gonna add my cream cheese, which is softened. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of my milk. Now, I wanna be careful with, maybe not all of it, just a little bit shy of all of it. I wanna be careful about how much milk I add because I want to make sure that it is liquidy, but just, it's not gonna just completely fall off because these are still warm. So you wanna make sure that you get a nice, you want a decent coating. You don't want like, a thin, sad coating. You know what we could also do? Ice these like cinnamon rolls. Is that what I'm gonna do? Yes. Yep. Grab ourselves an offset spatula. Now, if you find that it is too thin, you can add some more confectioner sugar to it. Doesn't really matter. I am so beyond excited right now. I can tell you that. Now, this glaze will set, so you can make this ahead of time and it will set. Maybe not if you put a super duper thick topper on it, but you could give it a fair shake. All right, last one, best one right there. And it's time to try. I might just, actually, upon further inspection, I might give it just a casual dusting on top. Is this necessary? No. Is there enough cinnamon in it? 100%. But you know me, I can't resist a good, you know, adornment. You could put some of the cinnamon chips on top if you want. All right, for reals. It's time to try. I am so excited. Yes, so excited. I'm gonna choose this one. The glaze is obviously still a little bit warm. You can see inside is nice and tender, and it has like a beautiful soft crumb. It's like a little bit dense, as it should be. In we go. Tastes like a cinnamon roll. It's so delightfully cinnamony. Those cinnamon chips have like a little sweetness. The scone itself is super tender, super soft, with like the extra little cream cheese tang and softness from the glaze. Oh, perfection. Perfection.